When you sign up for auto insurance, there are a lot of options. Which coverage should you choose to best protect yourself, and what is mandatory? Catherine Stone from Barbas Law is back to help us. Catherine, how have you been?
Good, how are you?
I'm so glad to be talking with you again because I have learned so much from you, and this is one topic that I continuously have questions about myself. And I know you can kind of break it down because you see this kind of stuff and the technicalities that affect your practice regularly.
Correct. Well, when clients come in and they've been involved in an auto accident, the first thing that we have to look at is both the client's insurance policy as well as the at-fault driver's insurance policy. That's one of the first things after making sure that they're getting medical treatment for any injuries that they may have had. And so, you know, a lot of times clients will come in and say, I have full coverage, and they don't know what that means. And so I get both policies. I do a request, and by law, the insurance companies have to provide me with those policies for both the other driver and my client. So mandatory in Florida for every individual who has a vehicle is PIP insurance, personal injury protection,
Yes, I've seen
which covers the first $10,000 in medical bills. Okay. And it's actually paid out at 80% of the medical bills, so there will still be about a 20% balance, and there may be some deductibles that apply depending on your policy. But for a driver in Florida to be insured on the road, they have to have PIP. But that's only covering your medical bills. That's not covering medical bills for someone you hurt in an auto accident.
Okay.
Now, what's not mandatory is what we call bodily injury coverage. And so that's where if someone were to cause an accident and hurt you and create the accident, you have to look at their policy to see if there's bodily injury. It is not mandatory in Florida that a driver carry bodily injury to cover you in an accident they cause.
Is that where you hear the no fault state or the...
Well, that's PIP. That's no fault means you have to apply for those PIP benefits, and it doesn't matter if it's your fault or the other driver's fault. You still have, regardless of what kind of accident, you still have eligibility to apply for those PIP benefits.
Okay.
So when you hear no fault, that's what they're referring to.
Okay.
They're not referring to the bodily injury coverage. So bodily injury is to cover injuries to someone else that you have hurt as a result of negligence involved in an automobile accident. Now, if that driver doesn't have bodily injury coverage, then there's no way, well, unless you file and try to seek assets if they have any assets, which is a whole different
segment.
Whole different segment. But in general, there's nothing underneath that policy that the injured person can go after if there's no bodily injury coverage. So then that's why we also get a copy of our client's policy, because then we look to see, does our client have underinsured or uninsured motorist coverage? And you know, I always like to bring in examples from clients, and we just gave a check out yesterday to a client who there was no bodily injury coverage by the vehicle that, by the person that caused the accident. Luckily, after doing some investigating and finding a technicality, we were able to get uninsured motorist coverage, and we're able to file a demand and seek the full recovery under that policy for the car she was driving at the time of the accident. So, because there was a significant amount of medical bills involved in that case. So, you know, that's part of what we do is we look at everything. We look at the other driver's insurance policy, and we also look at our own client's insurance policy.
Well, in closing, that's another reason then to call someone like yourself who can check out both policies for you if you find yourself in a situation where you are in an accident. But those are great tips to be proactive. So thank you so much. As always, we appreciate your time. And of course, if you have any questions about your rights, auto insurance, all you have to do, give a call to 1-800-BARBAS-LAW or check them out online, barbaslaw.com/knowyourrights.